Someone once said that the two most common elements in the universe are hydrogen and stupidity. Human stupidity is a very common element in the world. We have a way, don't we, of being rather stupid and foolish, of destroying ourselves and those around us, pressing that self-destruct button through foolish choices, actions and habits. Abraham had his moment here, didn't he, of stupidity, of foolishness. He failed again. For all the greatness of Abraham, as we might think, we might say he was only human after all. Better to say he was still a weak sinner. Déjà vu. It was déjà vu. That in French means already seen. This is a mistake we've already seen in chapter 12. Fully 20 years earlier, Abraham had made very much the same mistake with another powerful king, Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. In the same way, God had to step in to save him. In fact, he tells Abimelech in the course of his conversation that this has been his policy across the years. This mistake that he's made, this tendency to call his wife his sister to save his own skin. He even says that he put it on to Sarah as a kind of an emotional blackmail to say wherever they went, he is my brother. This was in order to preserve his own life, to save his own skin. A policy really dominated and motivated by fear for his own life. Sarah was apparently so beautiful, as we're told in chapter 12, and I know she's going on 90 now, but we should perhaps remember that people lived a lot longer in those days. She was so beautiful, he was afraid that he would be killed for her sake, that he would be killed so that she could be taken by another man. That's exactly what he says in verse 11. He speaks to Abimelech and says, I said to myself, there is surely no fear of God in this place, and they will kill me because of my wife. That was his fear all along. That was the reason for his actions here again in chapter 20. So here is this great man of faith. But the faith is failing, isn't it? It's faltering. It's being overcome by his fear. There's a failure of faith in God Almighty, the one he knows as God Almighty, to protect him. In spite of all God has shown him across the years, shown him about himself, in spite of the last time in Egypt with Pharaoh and all the trouble it caused, still Abraham repeats sins. We have a way, don't we, of shooting ourselves in the foot. We have a way sometimes of self-destructing and hurting the others around us. There are sins probably in our lives that seem to cling to us, sometimes referred to as besetting sins. That's drawn from Hebrews 12, the sin that so easily besets or so easily entangles. Hebrews 12, verse 1 or 2, I forget exactly which one. And I think it's probably true of all of us, isn't it, that there are particular sins, whether it's anger or envy or lust or whatever it might be, that keep plaguing us and bringing us down. For Abraham here, it was simply fear. Fear. And we know all about that too, don't we? We can easily fall into fear.